Hello, welcome to another episode of Raine B Plays The Sims 4. We're going to be continuing our Newcrest build with Midtown Meadows. These are images of my first attempt, which I scrapped. I did put it up on the gallery, but I scrapped the idea. I wanted to keep this neighborhood in particular kind of family, and I created 4 young adults. I knew what I wanted to do. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I never know what I want to do in Midtown Meadows. This is the toughest lot for me to build on. It is the largest in this neighborhood, and it has a nice pond behind it, but I never know what to do. So I scrapped those images that you saw, which again, I did upload it to the gallery. It's incomplete. And then I built this. I figured I would build townhouses. So it's 2 separate units. I only worked on one. I wanted to create a community lot for gardening, and I put the candle maker, I believe that's what it's called, a flower arranging table. So I've got the fruit trees, the vegetables, and the flowers growing in garden plots. I chose community garden. And then it took forever to find. I had to put that community voting billboard up. Took me forever to find it. I ended up going online. That took about a half hour to get the answer. I found the billboard. I put it up. And then the minute I put that billboard down, I'm like, you know what? They're not going to let people live here. I already know it. So sure enough, I went back and I got the family that I created for this townhouse, and they wouldn't let me put them in here. So after close to 5-6 hours of work just on the backyard, I had to scrap the whole idea. So I was wasted at that point. I shouldn't say wasted. It probably has a bad connotation. I was drained. Emotionally, physically, mentally. I couldn't go on. So I only did this one townhouse. I left the other one completely empty. I didn't even give it a layout. I will finish it before the series ends, and I will have a family in there. I just don't want to do it right now. My sinus issues have flared up. And I always resist taking medication for it, but I just couldn't because I lost 2 nights of sleep just coughing and hacking. And so I took some allergy medicine last night because even though it says it's 24-hour relief and there's no drowsy side effects, it knocks me out. So I took it last night, and I did not wake up today until 11, but I'm still out of it. It messes with me mentally and physically. You'll be able to see it in the after tour. It's so convoluted, choppy. I had no idea where I was going. I couldn't remember, did I show this? Did I go here? I edited it to the best of my ability. But there are issues with this townhouse house, whatever. I didn't know if I should make this a shared the space between the 2 buildings. I didn't know if I should make it shared or private. I ended up making it private. And then I'm thinking, aside from a barbecue, what would I put in here? And I really struggled with it. I don't know why. Like I said, I believe I'm just overtaxed at the moment. There was just too much going on. There was too much that didn't go right. So I'm not going to say I gave up. I did not give up. I just stopped. And I hope when I go back, everything will fall into place. But I knew, I believe in my last video, I let you know that this might be a while. Every time I come to Midtown Meadows, this happens. I get completely flabbergasted. So I think it's just become like a thing, like an omen type. I don't know, what would you call it? It's in my head that disaster is going to strike the minute I go to Midtown Meadows, and I have to get rid of that way of thinking. But I tried, and I don't believe I did a horrible job, but I maybe could have done better. love my backyard. I'm not going to take any of that away from them. I'm just sad that the entire neighborhood or the entire world of Newcrest can't use it. And I know if you send a sim to that lot, they'll eventually be able to, but it takes a long time. You have to befriend the sims who live there. You have to get to know them better. And then I think eventually you can water, and then eventually those plants will come up and you can harvest. But I had hoped that this would be a community garden for just this little neighborhood here. Didn't turn out that way. But I'm not displeased. I think it's cute. I think it does its job pretty well. It has the basics in it. A TV for mood. I put a laptop in the dining room for all three of them. I didn't use easels this time. She's into gardening and he's into collecting. That's another thing. I thought I would mention this. Very confusing. But I think it's always been this way in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, and correct me if they've fixed this. Well, obviously they haven't fixed it because I tried it. Unless your Sims are married, they can't woohoo. I have these two as a couple. I boosted their friendship and romance levels, so they're all the way pink and all the way green, and they still won't sleep together. She asked to be a boyfriend-girlfriend. He said yes. They had their first kiss, and they had their first woohoo, and then she crawled out of bed and went down and slept on the sofa. It's just, I don't get it. But I guess you have to, well, like I said, you have to build the relationship, but I cheated their relationship, and it still doesn't work. That's frustrating. And then I tried to go back into CAS and make them married, and it wouldn't let me. I have MC Command Center installed, and I did that cheat where CAS full edit mode. It still wouldn't let me fix their relationship. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to have to figure it out. Now, the fountain in the yard might be overkill, but again, this is a townhouse. My thought process was that it used to be a big fancy home from 2 centuries back, the 1800s, that ended up going to the city, and then the city had turned it into like each room was rented out, and then it fell into disrepair. So I don't know how it would work out in reality, but I'm assuming eventually a builder would come along and refurbish it, so they cut the house in half to give them that little commons area between the two buildings. And this is what he came up with. I don't think it's too bad. All right, again, mistakes constantly being made. I made a mistake with the back of the house. I think it was when I was working on the roofing, but I hadn't pulled the wall out far enough. So when I did make that change, the rooms in the back changed as well. So the bathroom suddenly had more room. So I rearranged cabinetry and the toilet and all that stuff. You may have noticed that I forgot to put wallpaper on the roofs in the back. I do go back and do that. Not for the gallery, I'm sorry to say, so you might want to do that if you download the house. But I did go back and fix that for my series. I completely forgot that those roofs were there. Like I said, once I got the house up and the rooms figured out, well, the layout, and then decorating everything, I went out in that yard, and that was a full day. A full day of working on it and trying to get it to work, and then discovering that it doesn't work, and I had to go back, turn it into a residential. It doesn't even look like it, but it was tough. It was a lot harder than it looks. Too much time, too much effort, and I just don't even know if I did the right thing here. Normally, my first inclination with this lot is to make it public for everyone living in the neighborhood to come here, gather, do whatever. Because like I said, all they have really is a pond. There's not too much to do here. But you have to consider the fact that they can travel. They don't need something on every corner. And then I'm always of the opinion that I want my world full of Sims I create. Half the fun of this game is creating the Sims and then building homes for them. Playing them always comes third to me, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy playing the game, because I do a lot. I'm very wary of this particular build, and I was even more wary about putting it up on the gallery, but I did. I hope that's okay. I doubt that too many people are going to download this one. But I'm not as displeased as I sound, I guess. I think it's really cute. It's a charming little townhouse. And I would not mind living there in real life. There's a sign in the front. I believe it's from Get Together. And it just tells you what's going on in town. I don't know if that works in reality of the game, but it doesn't matter. For me, it just looks like the name of the townhouse complex. That's why I put that there. And there was something else I wanted to mention, and I cannot remember it now. Oh, the gallery. The house ended up being 107,000 simoleons, and it is a little on the pack-heavy side. So, take that for what it's worth. I just don't know about it. I'm so anxious about this one. You know what? I have this feeling that I'm just going to go back. I'm going to bulldoze it, and I'm going to build something completely different for the third time. Who knows? Anyway, I appreciate the fact that you watched this. I thank you so much for supporting my channel. I do hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.